Thanks, Josh, and thanks to World Vision, Malaria No More, and One for co-hosting this, and thanks to all of you for coming this morning at such a busy time. It's really wonderful to be here to celebrate the strong leadership in the fight against malaria. The U.S. government has been a champion of this cause, and while we've had many, many allies on both sides of the aisle, I'd like to particularly thank Senator Feingold, Congressman Payne, and Congressman Bozeman, as well as Admiral Ziemer and UN Special Envoy Ray Chambers for all they do to strengthen our government's role in eliminating this disease. I've seen it firsthand, and I know many of you have, but this work and commitment is truly making a difference around the world to millions of people. And before I begin, I actually also just want to acknowledge Ambassador Dybel, who's here, and two of my board members, Adam Waldman and Ed Scott. And Ed, you may not know this, but it's actually because of you that I started learning about malaria when I took on this job, so thank you. I'd also like to thank Sarah Brown, who works in her own country and abroad to advocate for the world's disadvantaged and better health for mothers and women around the world. It's an honor to have you here, and thank you for coming. The fight against malaria is what brings us together today, and the U.S. has taken a lead role in that effort. An important contribution that the U.S. has made is its constant support of the Global Fund to fight AIDS, TB, and malaria. From a concept just 7 years ago at the G8 conference to now being the largest financier of the world's malaria program, the Global Fund is quite frankly a shining example of U.S. leadership in the fight against malaria. In 7 years, it's committed almost $7 billion toward malaria control, and the Global Fund distributes this funding to programs that will use it effectively, efficiently, and successfully. In the times that we live in, this is exactly the kind of investment the U.S. government should continue to make. A representative from one of these programs is here today, and that's Professor Babatunde Oshatamane, if I'm pronouncing his name right. And he's the Minister of Health from Nigeria, and it is a real privilege to have you here, sir. And for all of you that don't know, the minister is actually about to sign a pretty significant grant from the Global Fund totaling about $334 million to control malaria in his country. And in just 2 years, we expect him to pass out a bednet to every citizen in Nigeria that is will be affected by malaria, and in just 5 years, we hope that Nigeria will reduce that mortality by 50%. This is exactly the kind of sea change in the fight against malaria that wouldn't be possible without the U.S. support for this program. This is an issue I care deeply about, not only because it's wasting lives around the world, but it also affects pregnant women and children. So it really targets our future. And yet it's completely preventable, treatable, and curable, and we have everything we need to do those three things. There's much to celebrate this World Malaria Day, but I think we cannot forget how much more we need to do.